Da 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 da. I think that sounds good. I think we're ready to go. Okay, awesome. Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Student Art Podcast. I'm your host, Ross Baxter, and today it's episode 27 of the series. In today's podcast, I'm going to be talking about university, and particularly the university that I went to and why I recommend it. So I went to a university called Abertay University. I absolutely loved it. I had such a blast going there. Just to everyone who's listening, I'll remind a few times just to make sure that nobody gets misleaded. So I'm going to be providing my own perspectives. So obviously, I am an environment artist, so I'm going to try and tailor it towards my thought process and what I am my opinion is of the place. Obviously, but also I don't want to confuse anybody, but I loved the university that I went to, and for me as an environment artist, as a 3D artist, it was perfect for me, and there'd be no other place that I would choose, because obviously I'm based in Scotland, and for me growing up, all I heard when it came to game design and art related was Abertay. I always heard it was the best place to go, so for years I spent ages trying to get there. So obviously, normally everyone always finishes secondary school and they're like, right, let's go to university. Whereas for me, I didn't have the grades at the time, so I went the college route. So I ended up moving from college to college in order to get the right grades, and then finally got into the third and fourth year at Abertay University. And I wouldn't change it any other way, but it was awesome to be there. So obviously, if you're new to the Share podcast, I always like to bring on a range of guests weekly, covering student education and their thoughts and just their journey overall. But today, like I said, I'm going to be going in depth, just myself, about the university itself and why I recommend you to go there or to at least check it out. Particularly the people who are in the UK, and definitely if you're in Scotland. If you're in Scotland, I personally believe it's the best place to go. Obviously, I'm pretty biased because I haven't been to other places, but the other places, I know another place in Dundee, the other Dundee University, is also really good when it comes to art, so that's another one to check out as well. If you're new, don't forget to subscribe. Like I said, the podcast is out every week, where I provide you with weekly content of a range of different guests from all backgrounds, from VFX to games, and we talk about art. And don't forget to leave a like if you enjoyed today's episode. Make sure to select the notification bell to be notified every week. The podcast is live on 9 other platforms alongside YouTube. We are live on Anchor, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, Breaker, Overcast, Pocket Cast, Radio Public, and finally Stitcher. So let's just get into the podcast. I'm super excited for this one. This is going to be great. So the university I attended, like I said, was Abertay University in Dundee, Scotland. The course that I applied for was called Computer Arts. I attended the university, like I said, in my third and fourth year, so I won't be able to go into depth about the first 2 years, unfortunately, as I wasn't there. However, my time in third and fourth year was amazing, and I'm thankful for all the support I got from all the lecturers. And before I go into depth, in regards to the course, I just want to thank the following lecturers: Ryan Locke, Lynn Parker, Gordon Brown, Ken Fee, Dana Galloway, Robin Sloan, Ian Donald, Brian Robinson, David Lyons, Grant Clark, Darshana Yamain, and Claire Brennan. I really hope I've not missed anyone out. I do apologise if I have, but I thank all of you for everything that you've done for me, so thanks so much for that. And there's so many different aspects about Abertay that makes it Abertay, in the sense that that made it so great. And the main one for me personally was the lecturers. And I'll be talking about a variety of different things, to not only just about the lecturers, but all the reasons why Abertay was great for me. And I'll be able to provide, like I said, my own perspective. I particularly want to thank Lynn for everything that you helped with when it came to the course, and also when it came to everyone else in the course as well. Like the amount of just your kindness, you're the hardest working person I've probably ever met, and I'm really thankful for what you did for everyone in the course. Once again, thanks, Lynn. So thanks for doing that. So the big question a lot of students ask me, when it comes to education, and I understand because I used to ask this question all the time. What does the course have to help that what does the course have that can help me progress forward as an artist? Is the course right for me or right for you? Where is it based? What's the location? All these are very important questions that you need to get answered, and no matter where you're studying, you have to make sure to check them out. In today's podcast, obviously, I'm going to say all the good things about it. I absolutely love the course. There's only a few minor things I would change, but when it comes to education, this was the place for me that I knew I was the perfect fit. It was like a home for me. That's how great it was. I was there literally every day. I was there from Monday to Sunday for 2 years straight. I used to go to Abertay over the weekends and pretty much spend 9 hours there on Saturday and Sunday. And if I wasn't there, I was always doing 3D anyway. But always look into the place and really go into depth before you apply to places, or because you don't want to lose a spot. I'm not sure what's like in other countries, but I think in Scotland you can apply to 4 or 5 places. That's the limit or the max that you have. So yeah, make sure you get all those questions answered because you don't want to be misguided. So to me, games courses should have a variety of different things in order for the student to get as much as possible, and you have to obviously be prepared as much as possible. And preparation for the industry is so important. But obviously, there's a few things that are very crucial, and that is just making sure that the course is right for you in terms of passion. It's the most obvious one, it's the most cliche one, but you've got to be passionate about the course and what you're doing. So if you are applying to an art course, obviously it's so obvious. You should be having a blast when you go. You should know what you're going in for. You should enjoy it. It's simple as that. However, all these things fall into place if you're willing to put in the work and appreciate what you have available to you. Not all universities I'm aware are up to date with industry standard methods. I still think a lot of places charge way too much, and this is where you as a student and as a person have to think smart about what you're doing. When it comes to so when choosing a university, you have to go to the open days, or even talk to people about the course, find the truth, really try and find the honest answers, talk to the lecturers, talk to the artists, also talk to people who were past students. That's an important one. Find out and make sure you do your research, and make sure you're not wasting any money. Like I said, make sure to ask questions, ask the teachers, ask anyone you know who's been on the course, that you know that have applied, or possible other students you know who are applying. They might be able to help you out as well, because at the end of the day, you want to help each other out as much as you can, because the industry we're going into, or you guys are going into, it's all about teamwork at the end of the day. There's nothing wrong with attending a course for a year if you're still trying to find the right passion for you. However, it is a personal choice, because I understand it does cost money, particularly if you're in America or certain countries, it could be up to £40,000 a year, which is insane. I wouldn't pay for that. I would not invest into that. When it comes to, I just don't believe trying to get yourself into extreme debt. When it comes to Scotland, fortunately in Scotland, education fees are not too extreme. Hopefully, one day though, every place in the world will be like Germany, because Germany is free, which is so epic. It'd be great if everything when it came to education was free, but I understand why it's not free. But hopefully there's a more efficient system put into play. So I attended Abertay for one main reason, and that's everywhere I went regarding 3D in Scotland. Everyone that I knew kept bringing up about the course and how highly praised it was. If you're not aware, Grand Theft Auto started out in Dundee. That's where it all began for the franchise, and Dundee has been for years the place to go for games in Scotland. So why do I recommend Abertay? Before I start highlighting the reasons why I would like to recommend Abertay, I would like to remind everyone, once again, I am an environment artist, and a lot of the modules personally were always in favour at the time that I attended for 3D artists. Obviously, there's tons of the classes there that are in favour for concept artists and animators, but I'm going to provide it from my perspective as a 3D artist. And so if you're a 3D artist and you're wanting to learn 3D, etc., go to Abertay, if you're in Scotland, UK, or wherever you are. And like I said throughout my podcast, 3D is literally everything to me, and these days it's applied everywhere in games. It's also very important for concept artists to know 3D. Like I said, in my course there were concept artists, animators, character artists. There are also even UI artists as well. The university covers a range of courses related to games, from sound design, game design to computer arts. You name it, everything games is there, and that's what made it special. So the 4 main reasons that I would recommend checking out the course are the teachers. I think the teachers are the most important part to why I enjoyed the course. The second one is the group projects. The third one is community and networking. And last but not least is simply the classes. So when it comes to education, if you're being taught by the wrong people, it's obvious. It's pretty much going to be pointless. So why would you go to the course? But when you're at Abertay, you're surrounded by so many great lecturers who are equally as passionate as you are, and are always doing their best to support you as much as possible. So now I'm just going to go into depth about all the different lectures that you'll be taught by if you do attend. And to me personally, all of them were amazing. I have nothing bad at all against anybody. I'm so grateful to be taught by all these people. But first person, we've got Ryan Locke. He's an absolute legend, an amazing teacher who not only helps you out as much as he can, but he always focuses on the student's best interest and always helped me out identify the things I enjoyed the most, whether it was environment design, creating a style, you named it. He would always be going into depth and help me out and all the students as much as possible. I joined Abertay in my 3rd year of education, and my actual first module was with Ryan, and it was called Computer Arts Practice. And pretty much everyone in the class said that was their favourite module. In this module, there are a range of briefs ranging from concept art to environment design to character development. And the assignments at the time that I did for this class was to recreate my own environment based on Noah Bradley's artwork and use his style to evoke mood and story within the art piece. Throughout this module, every week, Ryan would go around every student in depth, talking to them about their projects of choice and focus on the art and making sure everyone was on track. And at the end of the day, art was always the main focus, which is crucial in our industry, as if the art's not there, you're not going to get a job. For this project, I made up a forge, and throughout the module, I would collaborate with my fellow classmates to gather advice, such as working with concept artists and ask my friends, such as Kevin and Yannick, for their design input. Where getting their input was always very beneficial, and most importantly, being surrounded by people like myself was also another main reason that made this course so amazing. The next person is Lynn Parker. So when I was at Abertay, Lynn was in charge of the course, and she is hands down the hardest working, most supportive and caring person I've probably ever met when it comes to just things in general and probably teaching. Everyone who was a student in the course, is, like I said earlier, is really thankful for what you did for us. Even if she was very busy, she always sacrificed her time to help you. Even if you could tell she was super busy, but she would always be patient with everyone, and it was we were all super grateful for what you did. Lynn is also in charge of the animation module. So if you're passionate about animation, trust me, you're in good hands. She is great at what she does. One thing I'll say about today's podcast, once again, just remember, it's been 2 years since I've graduated, so a few things might have changed in regards to modules and teachers. However, all the teachers I've mentioned today, that I'm mentioning today, I believe are all still there. So trust me, you're not going to miss out of. They're still there. So if you're still in that that year to apply and so forth, you'll still meet all these amazing people. So the 3D teachers, the 2 great artists and teachers for me that were most support for me when it came to 3D were Gordon Brown and Ken Fee. So when I was at Abertay, these 2 teachers helped me out a tremendous amount. They're both former rock star artists. Both are amazing artists and teachers that helped me out throughout the course. As an aspiring environment artist, I was able to get the best advice from these 2 at any time. They both helped me improve a lot with my workflow and just my art skill in general. In fourth year, I had the privilege to have Gordon mentor me for my honours project. Throughout my time in fourth year, my honours project changed a few times, and that can be expected sometimes. At first, it was based on the fear of failure and character art, and having Gordon there, who's, like I said, a former rock star artist, teach me the best sculpting methods and anatomy was very crucial for my growth as an artist. However, my fourth year, I ended up changing my honours project as an opportunity opened up to work with Disney, and therefore I had to change my project to be environment art based. And throughout this project, Gordon guided me and went into depth about my weaknesses and strengths that inevitably propelled my artwork. Having teachers that know the software inside out is crucial, and having Gordon and Ken is one of the main reasons why Abertay was awesome for me. Another great lecturer is Robin Sloan, and I was fortunate to be taught by him for an incredible module called Spatial Constructs. So Robin is in charge, I believe, of the game design production management course at Abertay. However, the great thing about Abertay is that the 4 main game art related courses cross over. So when I was at Abertay, Robin taught the module, like I said, called Spatial Constructs. I'm not sure if he still does now. It might have changed, but I am pretty sure the module is still there. And it's basically where you have to create an interactive 3D environment in either Unreal Engine or Unity. Robin, once again, was an awesome lecturer and the best choice for the module. His knowledge of games, of game design is insane. For my project, I created an interactive TIE fighter from Star Wars and built the mechanics in Unreal. Through this module, Robin taught me how to use the software and how to create story. And as this is one of the main things I always bring up, workflow. Workflow is so important. So learning game engines is a must for the game industry, and it helps you understand the pipeline, and this module gave a taster of how games worked within the engine. You learned how to set up nodes, etc. You name it, the module had it. When being taught by Robin, you're not just getting taught by someone who understands the software, but someone who truly understands games, narrative, and emotion. The next lecturer, Brian Robinson, when at Abertay, the lecturer that I talked to the most and helped me out the most was Brian Robinson. Whilst at university, I did my honours project on the fear of failure that I mentioned earlier, and Brian is probably the wisest lecturer there. Nothing against anybody else, but I had countless conversations with Brian where he helped me break down the topic of the fear of failure in depth. Both Brian and I have a passion for really selling emotion and story within an art piece, and really respecting the old masters of art such as Michelangelo, Da Vinci, Monet, etc. You name it, we could talk about it for ages. Having a lecturer who really makes you think about your art from all angles is so crucial to developing your art skills and imagination. So thanks, Brian, for always helping me out with such great insight. So during my time at Abertay, one of the coolest classes / modules is in the third year, and that is the group project, where the main course, where the main game courses such as game design, production management, the computer arts course, which is the one I was on, and like the audio courses. I think there's a few other. I'm trying to think which one I'm missing. I'm missing something. I know I'm missing, but I think there's 4 or 5 courses, but pretty much all of them get merged together for you to work as a team. Where the whole year is divided into multiple teams, and it's designed to provide students with the closest hands-on experience that relates to the industry pipeline / workflow. For this project, I was fortunate to have Ian Donald as our team's mentor. Ian is was one of my favourite teachers at Abertay, as he was always very supportive and had so much knowledge about game design. And one of the things I respected the most about Ian was his honesty. In the games industry, it's crucial that the feedback you get from your lecturers and colleagues is both encouraging but also truthful. And Ian always taught us, I believe, the best way possible, and it was the most efficient way for me to grow as an artist, because he was always very just truthful. And being able to work within a team is hands down the most important aspect of the industry for artists. because if you can't work with anyone, it's pointless. And Abertay University really goes into depth about how important teamwork is, and it's all about creating friendships, creating a network, creating that foundation for you to grow. And by me attending Abertay, I was able to, like I said, be surrounded by people that were like me. And that's the main part, is like having fun. Like, you should be enjoying it and being surrounded by the people that you want to be surrounded by. Also, on the group project, I had the privilege to be taught by Dana Galloway. Dana is the head of Division of Games and Arts, and when I was at university, Dana also helped our team out a lot on the group project. Personally, when it comes to games, there's nothing Dana doesn't know. Throughout the group project, he helped out a tremendous amount with level design, narrative, and character development, through which our discussions really helped us produce a more compelling story, but most importantly, made the games more fun throughout our discussions. Also, alongside lecturing, Dana also organises and participates in creative events, and regularly organises activities such as the Global Game Jam and Dare Academy. Dare Academy is an annual event and competition hosted by Abertay, where students come together to make games, and if you win, there's a lucrative prize in store for you. The teams go head to head at EGX, the largest games expo in the UK, and it's a once in a lifetime opportunity and chance to develop your network and also break into the industry. Fellow classmates of mine have been awarded a Baxter through the competition, and these are opportunities available to you guys if you apply and take part at Abertay. So during my time at uni, the next lecturer, who was part of at the time the creative research module, David Lyons. David Lyons, I believe, he's in charge of the course for computer arts. He's an amazing lecturer. Him and Brian both taught, like I said, a great module called creative research, which was also a part of the course. I don't think it's still a part of the course now. However, I'm not sure what's happening in regards to the modules, and obviously things change a lot every year. But when I was there was this module basically that this was a module that was so required, and one of the main reasons why I love this module was not only because of how supportive David was for this and Brian, but it was the fact that it allowed you to pretty much learn discipline and pretty much learn, I guess, self-learning, because creative research was a module designed to allow you to tackle anything. So basically, you could make anything for this project, whether it was character art, environment design, if you wanted to make UI art, if you wanted to talk about something completely random, or I don't know, art characters for animation, talk about blend shapes, talk about rigging. You could cover anything, and this was so crucial because without this module, personally, I really hope they've put it back into the system, because it taught a lot of artists that they had to come up with ideas, had to learn things more independently, and too many artists, I think, are still a bit behind in terms of being fully committed, in terms of trying to really hone in on their skills, and a lot of people tend to wait also when it comes to submissions till the end, and this is a big problem when it comes to, I guess, the education side of things, just in general, not just for art courses, but just every course in general, is making sure that students have the right mindset. And through this module, David was great at what he did for the course. So personally, for me, I was doing anatomy sculpting for this module, and David really went into depth about how to basically get me out of my comfort zone. So he was teaching me a lot of variety of different things, giving me advice on what I could do different and how to approach things different. And when it comes to art in general, this is so important when it comes to getting into the industry, because you tackle so many different things, obviously that you enjoy, but also things that maybe that are obviously different, or things you have never faced before. And another awesome thing about this module, there were so many presentations involved, and a lot of people, when it comes to presentations, obviously, I understand there's a lot of people who are listening in who might be quite shy or quite intimidated when it comes to presentations. However, personally, I think it's such an essential skill to grow. And when it comes to presentations, this module really allowed people not only to understand themselves more personally, but also highlight how much work they were able to, that they were putting in, because you could clearly tell the separation between the hardworking students and the students who maybe were a bit more lazy or a bit more laid back. And these things are a good wake-up call. And I really love this module, and I'm really thankful for what David and Brian did for this part of the course. So I really hope it is back in the course, because it was, to me, one of the most just important things of the whole course. And so in the whole 2 years that I was there, because, for example, the group projects you're working within a team, there's presentations, and this, whilst in third year early on, was like a stepping stone, because you're constantly learning as you go along. So you had the presentation, the first few presentations in the first half of the year, the second half of presentation the next half of the year, and it tailored in so nicely with the group project, and it helped kind of give people a taster of things to come. So if people were originally quite nervous about presentations, they did get way better, because of obviously just the common practice makes practice, or practice makes better, basically. So thank you for doing this module. I absolutely loved it, and thank you for all your help. And like I said, David comes from a background of so many different unique skills, and he's really good at what he does. He's a great artist, and it's being able to, like I said, having these, like, all these different range of lectures that makes or breaks a university. And this is why Abertay, I'll keep repeating it, was so good, because when you have range of so much knowledge, it really allows you to pretty much try anything, explore your ideas, and see what your main passion is. And obviously, I know I wasn't in Abertay my first and second year. However, I know if I was, I would be in the right hands, because there's so many different great level of artists, of teachers, covering a range of different topics. And I know for a fact that if I was trying to find my passion, they would really help me find it. So yeah, that was Dave Lyons and the creative research module. Awesome. So the next lecture and module I want to talk about is Grant Clark. So at my time at university, I had the choice between choosing animation or technical arts, and I ended up choosing the rigging module, technical arts, as it was an area I knew very little about. And I wanted to explore into it more and identify if it would be something that I would enjoy and possibly pursue as a career. In charge of this module, like I said, was a great rigger and coder, Grant Clark. And in this module, you had the opportunity to create your own rigs and create your own rigged characters, whether it was a biped character or a quadruped character. You also learnt how to create blend shapes, which were essential for facial expressions, and also I learned how to create the vowel targets for the blend shapes. I absolutely loved this module, as it was something fresh that I've never done before, and Grant, once again, an incredible teacher, and was really helpful into making me progress as an artist for rigging. He particularly went into depth about how to learn Python. So he talked about Python, and we talked about coding and where it was essential for the technical arts part of the course. And this was something I actually really enjoyed. I really did struggle early on, as personally, as an artist, I never really ever went into the coding aspect. But this was something so fresh and so cool and so different that it was nice to have a change. And like I said, change is always important. And as a person who used to be an animator, so I used to be part of the animation mentor course, this was so essential, as it helped me identify more in depth about how things functioned in terms of the pipeline. And like I said, it's always crucial for students to identify what they want to do as a career. And through me, by trying this and experience what rigging was, I was able to get the answers that I needed. And like I said, Grant was really great at what he did. He also brought in other industry experts to teach alongside him, where both the lecturers would go around the class every day, spending so much time with each student, which was I was really thankful for. And getting industry insight is so important. And Grant's also another great example. He's been in this industry for years, and he's worked on so many awesome games. And having his knowledge teaching you how things work. So if you are passionate about rigging, once again, you're in great hands. It was a privilege to be taught by to be taught by you if you're listening, and I thank you for what you did for this module. So the next lecturer I want to talk about was in charge of personally another super important module, which was all about networking, and his name is Darshana Yamain. I hopefully I pronounced his surname correctly. Darshana is another incredible lecturer who taught us all the important aspects of developing your own network and how to create a name for yourself. Throughout this module, you had to learn how to work within a team and develop your own company idea and learn how to work efficiently, but most importantly, how to present. And if it wasn't for Darshana, a lot of people's presentations similar to creative research wouldn't have been able to grow. And like I said, it's through his teaching I was able to understand how to write more professionally as well, such as how I describe myself on LinkedIn and social media platforms. And a great part of this module was the essay aspect. So basically, we were assigned to write an essay about ourselves and really go into depth about who we are as a person, or what inspires us, and all the networking aspects, really understand the industry that we're going into depth. So, for example, if you wanted to go into games, we had to understand the correct terms, the terminology, you name it. Through Darshana's teaching, I was able to truly understand the correct terminology and just really go into depth about what the industry was all about. And this module is so important, and I really hope all universities, if you are listening in from another university, really has a module like this, because without networking, pretty much everything is pointless, because at the end of the day, it's about creating a name for yourself. You're a brand at the end of the day, and you have to present yourself as professionally as possible. So I thank Darshana for being an awesome lecturer and really teaching us how to grow as an artist and just as a person in general. So thank you for doing that. So the final lecture I want to talk about is probably one of the most important at the course, which is Claire Brennan. Claire is a curator and lecturer, where her role is about delivering teaching activity and supporting modules for all undergraduate programs within the School of Arts, Media and the Computer Games. Claire is also in charge of one of the most important aspects of the year, which is the end of year showcase. This is where fourth year students showcase their work to the public and industry professionals, and without Claire, all this wouldn't be possible. The end of your show is not only allows you to learn how to network, but also possibly or maybe could help you get yourself a job through the people that you meet. So I just want to thank Claire for everything that you did for me personally throughout the course, and for always running such amazing events at the end of your showcase, and all the things that you've done throughout the year as well. So that's what I wanted to talk about today for everyone on the podcast, because personally, when it came to Abertay was so important to my progression as an artist, and I couldn't thank these people enough. When it comes to Abertay, it's all about you as a person, and obviously, like I said, being surrounded by great people, and everything I've discussed today from the modules, but the main thing, like I said, is the teachers, because without them, you guys aren't going to be able to progress forwards. And all the names that I've said, once again, thank you so much for everything you've done for everyone, and all your continued support that you've done thank you so much. I can't thank you guys enough. You were all amazing, and maybe I'll see you guys again soon in the future or whenever I pop down to Abertay. But if you guys do want to go check all these lecturers and artists' work, I'll happily put them in the section below if you guys want to go check them out. And if you're new to the Short Podcast, obviously it'd be much appreciated if you leave a like and to subscribe. Don't forget to select the notification bell if you want to be notified every week about all the content I'm bringing to you weekly. Like I said, there's so many podcasts going at the moment. I'm kind of losing track. I've actually so we've got a great artist who's worked at companies such as Ubisoft coming on this week, and then next week we've got our first creature concept artist coming on who works at Netflix. So like I said, make sure to stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next video. But thanks once again for listening, and make sure to go check out Abertay University, because I'm always a very honest person. I will tell you the 100% truth. If I don't like something, I'll always say it, and there's nothing really I have anything against Abertay. Abertay was amazing to me, and if you're in Scotland, make sure to apply to Abertay University. Trust me, you won't regret it. If you have any questions about the university, feel free to fire me a message on LinkedIn, because that's the best way, most easiest way for me to get in touch with anybody. If you have any questions regarding the course or the people, the types of things you're learning, etc. But as always, stay tuned, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye for now. Thank you.